So, exams
So,
this year. It's been a bit of an interesting year for exams. As
bit of a kerfuffle.
it's a bit of a kerfuffle. Like everyone will know, COVID. It sort of messed everything up. The last
Exactly.
exams before this year were in 2019. Everyone that's been in education since 2019, it's been a bit off and on, if you know what I mean.
Rona lockdowns, obviously all that.
Exactly. So, I think an important question to ask before we start discussing what subjects did you take, Luca, as your GCSEs?
I took higher maths. I took drama. Why is that funny?
Higher maths.
No, because you can do foundation, higher,
Oh,
and
right, I
further.
thought you meant further maths.
No, I'm not doing further maths. Obviously not.
Right.
So I'm doing higher maths,
Yeah.
English, obviously language and literature,
Yeah.
drama,
Yeah.
RE,
Yeah.
and geography. Got a bit geography.
Oh, of course.
And I did take Spanish, but I dropped it.
Did you actually?
I did drop Spanish because I wasn't good at it.
You know, I dropped French as well.
Did you?
Yeah.
Love that. And I took triple science as well. Triple science.
I don't know how you took triples. I'm joking. Right.
It was between so the option, because I dropped Spanish, was the option between dropping triple and dropping Spanish, and I chose to drop
Oh,
Spanish.
so you couldn't drop both?
I couldn't. I wasn't really allowed to drop it because I want to have actual GCSEs. You know what I mean?
That's true.
I want to have a good set of GCSEs.
I never got that option. They were just like French.
God. Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, because of like the whole COVID thing and everything, all the grey boundaries are all messed up. Since like 2019 and 2021, the grades went up 6% because they were what like the government called centre assessed grades, which is where they just guess basically, and your teachers. Yeah. In 2020, the teachers did it, which is
internally assessed.
Internally assessed. Exactly. You've got the terminology. 100%. So what do you think about the? Because say there's people that will have tried very hard, like in 2019, and put in all the effort in, and they're effectively like capped to a certain grade boundary set, and then 2020 comes along, and people that have had like a year, maybe off school, not trying as hard as these people the year before. What do you think about that? It's a bit.
Well, I think so. 2019, when they had the government like basically guessing what people were going to get, right?
No, 2020.
No, I thought that was 2019.
No,
no.
2019 was like the last...
No, that was 2020. No, that was 2020. 2020. Yeah, 2020. So 2020, when the government were like guessing and stuff, I remember there was a big thing about the discrepancy between like state schools and private schools because it's based largely off of like previous exam results.
Yeah.
And I don't necessarily think that should determine you. Like, I don't think your school should determine your like grades, especially because like I think because they use mocks as well. To like assess what their grades would be, and like my mocks, they weren't like horrible, but like my mocks weren't great.
Like,
you know what I mean?
Like some people do not try for mocks at all.
Yeah, no, exactly, and so that's like a bit of an unfair thing to just say like, oh, you didn't try in your mocks, boom, you're gonna get like 2 4s, and then everything else fail.
Yeah, it's true because actually mocks like realistically they don't actually matter, like in the whole like. Scheme.
But they did matter that 1 year though.
But they did. But yeah, exactly. And they didn't get told that they mattered, which is a bit
exactly.
And then also like, if teachers are deciding it, teachers look better if they get a class of A's or whatever. And some schools have like teachers get paid bigger bonuses and stuff if their classes do well and stuff like that. So there is like,
there's incentive behind it.
There is incentive behind giving your students good grades, and then but then in like 10 years' time or whatever. When everyone will have like forgotten what COVID is, and people will be looking for jobs. These like 2 years are going to have mad results, and then everyone else is effectively like less fortunate about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
exactly.
Off quote changing grade boundaries, which they do every single year.
Yeah.
Do you think that's right? Do you think they should have the ability to make? So say there's a year in like geography where everyone does bad. Do you think they should make the bad grades look better, or do you think like for every single year, like 60% should be like a 7, and 80 should be an 8, or something like that? Do you think it should be set, or do you think they should like have the ability to change?
Well, I think like because they change the exam every year.
That is true.
And it's difficult to keep an exam at the exact same difficulty every single year.
That is true.
You know what I mean? And I think grade boundaries should be like, I guess in a way, like more reflected on the exams than the people that took them. In a way, like if it's a hard exam,
That is true.
it should be more based around like this is a hard exam, so lower grade boundaries,
Yeah.
right? Compared to like instead of it being like, oh, everyone did bad, so
Yeah, but
they
then
did
how
bad.
how
You
do
know what I
you
mean? I think
yeah
yeah, go on.
how do you assess though if the exam is hard before like the students take it?
I don't know. Like, I think well, first of all, in terms of like the students doing badly, right?
Yeah.
I think you need to see is there a reason why this year has done badly in exams? Is there any specific reason as to why? Obviously, there was because of the big Roro,
Yeah.
but like other than that, I think you got to look at that, you know.
Yeah.
And then, but I think in terms of assessing how difficult it is, like I want to say, like you know how for movies they have like test audiences.
Yeah.
I want to say test audiences, but like I don't know how good that would be in terms of keeping the exams confidential
That's
before
true.
they actually go out to the public.
And who would you test it with
Because
as
like,
well? Because if it's people that are older, the exam will obviously be like easier for them. Or if it's people
yeah,
that are younger, it'll appear. So the only like actual fair test would be people of that age,
yeah,
like that year, that have also learnt the subject for the. Like so people that would
yeah, no,
actually
yeah,
take the
exactly,
exam.
exactly. So I think it's quite a difficult, like I think it's a difficult problem to solve in a way,
Yeah,
you know.
but then
Yeah,
is like manipulating. So say there's a year where everyone does really badly, bar like 20 people. So obviously
20.
it'll be
Whoa.
it'll be bigger than that, obviously. But as an example,
Whoa, man. Okay.
yeah. So these 20 people, they get a 9, and they got like
Ooh.
80%. But then everyone else got 40%.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then they all get 8s. Is that
Yeah.
like that's a bit of a drastic example, but it's the general idea of it.
Yeah.
Is that right? I don't think that's right.
You know what? I think that's a fair assessment. But then again, if it's only 20 people,
It
then
was
like
just the example.
it's a bit
It
different.
was the
But
example.
but no, I think I see where you're coming from.
Yeah,
I think yeah, I think when everyone's sort of floating around the same area, the grade boundaries need to be tighter though. You know
yeah,
what I mean? By like point something of a percentage, I
yeah,
guess. But no, yeah, I to be honest, I don't think that's fair if it's like a massive difference between these people getting like 84% and these people getting like 32.
yeah,
But the 32s are like just the second best to
yeah.
this group of people, so they get an 8. I don't necessarily think that's fair.
Because you have to look at it as such. Like, if it was a really hard paper and that's why everyone did badly, like these
Yeah.
people must have tried sort of like exceptionally well to get.
Yeah, to get those
To
grades.
get exactly to get the grade they got. So it's a bit of a grey area, I think, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah. So with exams this year, obviously COVID was the big thing.
Yeah, has been for a few years.
Exactly. But this year, advanced information.
Hmm.
It's a bit of a it's another bit of a controversial topic.
Yeah.
So well, let me just explain what it is, for the listeners. It was a sheet that said the topics that would be, what do they call it, major focus?
There's like major focus and minor focus.
Yeah, so there was so the questions that would be like 9 markers in a paper that has 9 markers would be written down as like the major focus ones, and then there was also a list of the topics that wouldn't be included, or some of the topics that wouldn't be included.
But then there's still topics that may or may not be included,
Yeah.
like in the middle of them. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. So, do you think it was useful? Just like flat out.
I think it depends. I think it depends on the paper because I think so. We did IGCSE for science, EdXL
Yeah,
IGCSE,
ones, yeah.
but I think I remember specifically when because biology was like the first GCSE we did,
Yeah,
and I remember on TikTok everyone was going on about it.
yeah,
And for AQA biology,
yeah.
their advanced information was horrible. Like
Yeah.
that, there was like no relation to the actual paper.
I've got some little facts about AQA.
Oh,
So-
wowzers, man! Okay.
For their physics one, there was something written down as not included, so like under the list of definitely not included, and then it was featured in a 9 marker. So it's very much
Ooh.
and then AQA, because you have to like write statements about stuff like that because it's sort of serious. They decided to give everyone that took the paper the full 9 marks for that question. So it's sort of another like, is that fair sort of thing.
And also another thing you could go on to is like, arguably taking stuff out of the paper, which is what they did,
Yeah.
makes it harder in a sense. Because I remember for biology, for us, they took out like respiration
Yeah.
and Mrs.
That's
Grant and
true.
these easier topics, which kind of
That's
gets
true.
the fluff off the exam
Yeah.
and kind of makes it more dense of full of like hard, more difficult questions. It takes away the kind of the guaranteed
Yeah.
marks you're going to get.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I think taking those kind of easier, because that's what they really that's what they did.
That is what they did. They
Yeah,
sort
and
of,
I think that yeah.
they made it look like there was sort of, well, they were, for some subjects it was good and it was very accurate, but for others
Yeah.
it was sort of a case of they take away the easier things which people won't really notice,
Yeah.
to make it look like they're doing a lot more than they are, sort of thing.
And I remember also for biology, I don't know why it's all to do with biology,
I don't know.
but I remember specifically for biology, them telling us that like you won't be asked a question on this topic specifically, so you won't be
Yeah.
asked a question on like just on respiration, but your answer may
Like
include respiration.
yeah,
It might be a case of like you kind of have to still talk about it, but you're
Yeah.
not going to be asked it directly,
that's true.
which I think is just like kind of almost in a sense defeats the purpose.
Yeah.
Not fully, but
Or
a
sort
bit,
of like
yeah,
the principles of, well, respiration or whatever.
yeah.
So it is sort of a grey area. And there's some
Yeah.
subjects that didn't get advanced information as well. Is a bit,
I think Spanish was one of them.
they didn't get it.
Yeah, even though I didn't take it, I remember because I have friends that took it, and
Yeah.
I think so because they did like a weird exam board. Like I remember.
Yeah.
Oh, RE as well. We didn't get advanced information for RE.
Yeah, it's just like if they're gonna do
Or
it.
no, we didn't. No, we didn't get RE for one paper, but we did get it for two other papers.
Oh right, okay.
I think.
I think yeah.
I can't really remember. I've kind of tried to block GCSEs out of my mind.
You know,
Push into the side,
it's about to
but I
come
think
back
so, yeah.
into. That's why we're doing it now. It's about to come back into the mainstream. You know.
Exactly.
It's about to be a thing. So yeah, there is. Just looking at my notes because I can't really read them. Yeah. So the thing with like AQA, they did it on like 4 occasions in 4 different papers.
Yeah.
But like giving people 9 marks, like that's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot of marks. That's like differences between grades, like big grades as well.
Yeah.
So whether they could really do anything else about the fact they've messed up, probably not, because it's either gonna be unfair to the people who took the paper or be unfair to everyone else. So it's sort of.
Did you hear about the thing with the English AQA and like everyone doing the same story?
Oh yeah. I did actually. I
Yeah,
don't know about
yeah.
that.
So shall I give you a little background?
Of course.
So we did for English.
Piss.
What do we Edexcel?
that
Edexcel. And so for our like big question in Edexcel, it's like it was a speech or a
A leaflet was
like
it?
newspaper article or something like that.
Yeah.
But for AQA, for their like big question,
Yeah.
like 45 marker, they have to do a story. Okay.
Yeah.
What they do is they get a picture, and then they have to do a story around it. And there's this like YouTuber, this English lesson YouTuber guy, and he said that he tells his students to do this like story, right? This priest story, which is basically about this priest who like can't get into heaven or whatever. I can't really remember.
Yeah.
But it's basically the story, and a lot of people watched that video, and tons of people did like the exact same story.
Yeah.
And there were questions of, is that plagiarism? If you're all doing the same story. But then it was decided that, you know, it's not plagiarism in the end, because you're not copying word for word.
That's true.
You're just
yeah.
copying a story structure.
The thing, like when you're writing a story, like that sort of thing, you are copying something else.
Yeah.
It's very hard to create a completely original story.
Yeah, and because you have a story, you know, stories take inspiration from other stories.
Exactly. And when you're
Yeah,
writing
like-
under like the time pressure and everything of exams, like you're going to be thinking about, even if it's just like telling a story of something that happened to you, like it's still going to be taking bits of.
Yeah,
stuff.
or even like the structure of a story, even if it's like a completely different theme in a sense.
Exactly.
The structure of like this happens and then this person kills this person and this happens. That structure is so where do you draw the line between plagiarism and not plagiarism? Where's the line?
And they teach
drawn?
a certain structure as well, so everyone is going to be taught the same story structure.
The like the mountain structure.
Yeah.
I got taught that in like year 8. Yeah. Do you know? It's like
No.
I think I can't. I've not looked at it in ages, but I think it's just like I can't remember.
Okay, that's good.
Because I'm thinking, because a mountain goes up and down, so I'm thinking like it goes.
Oh, like the story reaches a climax.
It
It like
reaches a
builds
climax,
to
but
it.
surely the story wouldn't reach a climax in the middle. Because surely it would reach a climax at the end.
That's like close to the end, yeah. Maybe it's
Yeah.
like a
So like, why would
wonky
why?
mountain.
It's like a different, like a right angled triangle.
Little maths fact right there.
Because it takes like it goes up slowly and then it reaches the climax and then
And then it drops.
right at the last little tiny bit, it's like cool, happy ending. You know?
Yeah, I know. But
Yeah.
So I think even if everyone had learnt a particular story though, everyone's
Yeah.
gonna have written like it different.
Similar. Yeah, but people but people have written it like slightly different, yeah.
Yeah, so it's not really plagiarism as such. I don't think. I mean, yeah, it's sort of a grey area as well.
Yeah.
It's all quite a lot of grey area.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. So I think as well from what people have been saying and like, I think it was on the news maybe as well. I think the general synopsis, I think that's the word, from this
Yeah.
shit is that. Oh, I wrote that down. I wrote that down. That's good. You know, that's good.
That's a banging word, that is.
The general synopsis is that exams this year were easier.
Yeah.
Do you think, from your experience?
Well, obviously, I didn't take exams in previous years, but like to be fair, the exams compared to like mocks, right?
Or like
and
past papers.
and past, yeah. Oh, actually, because I did do past papers.
Are you sure?
Maths, we got a lot of past papers.
Did you do them though?
I did do them,
There we go. There we go.
but I think because I was like kind of stressing a bit because it's like these are hard. That's what I was thinking. I was thinking like these papers are hard, and then I actually get to the exam, and I didn't really struggle on many papers. I struggled on physics paper 2 and chemistry paper 2.
Yeah, they were not it, to be fair.
But maybe that's just because they were the last 2 exams we had,
Yeah.
and so you're less at that point. It's like you're less motivated. You're like, I just want it to end.
That's
You know? So like my first exams, I tried so hard. I memorized like. Look at this.
Have you got them here? Live examples. Oh my.
I memorized like hella Bible quotes.
But
I don't think this is all
for
of them.
biology or for RE?
No, for RE
I was
because
gonna
we
say.
had.
All right.
Wait, no, yeah, I had RE before biology. I think.
Did you?
I think so. I think RE was before biology.
Oh, I mean, I don't know.
I've thrown my exam timetable in the bin.
so
So I don't know, but I think it was before biology, and biology was the first exam that like everyone did.
yeah.
Look at this. I've got like John 3:16, John 4:8. I remembered all of these. I memorized them, and I used them because Bible quotes are really good to use in your Christianity paper.
Yeah.
But yeah, those went really well. Yeah.
It could have been more because like. Well, everyone was stressing about the sort of thing because of exams, and all the teachers were going on about it and everything like that.
Yeah.
And then when you get in the actual exam room with like all your nerves and adrenaline and everything, like you sort of, you perform, but everyone performs better under stress to a certain extent. So
Do you think?
I think
Because
so.
I don't think so. Because what about people who like maybe have like anxiety or something? Because if you there's like a point where you get like an extreme stress, like a panic attack or something.
Yeah.
Like that just kind of clouds your mind over, don't you think?
I think it's a fine line.
Yeah.
You perform better if there's a reward at the end of it, basically.
Yeah.
Which is
there's motivation towards
exactly,
it, I guess. Yeah.
which comes with a small amount of stress. Some people stress about it more than others. But do you think it could have been because it was built up as like this is going to be really bad because you've missed so much school and everything, and then people got in there and it wasn't as bad as like everyone was making it out to possibly be? Maybe.
Yeah, I think I like to be honest. In general, the general consensus from exams was
Consensus.
like, yeah,
we got good words for this one.
we have got good words, man. Was that it wasn't? I didn't really find it. Obviously, other than those 2 papers, maths. I'm bad at maths. Like I'm not good at maths.
No comment, Luca. No comment.
But paper 1 and 2, like they were breezy. Paper 3 was like a little bit
But it's
harder,
always
but
a little bit, isn't it?
yeah, but it was okay.
Yeah.
And compared to the past papers,
Yeah.
the past papers were definitely a lot harder. And I think just having that, yeah, I think what it is when you get, so for me, right, when I got into the exam, like I'm bricking it, right. I'm
Yeah.
pumped up. I'm like anxious. And then it's like when you actually start the exam, maybe for the first minute you're still stressed,
Yeah.
but that stress just kind of goes away and you go into what
Exam.
in psychology they call the
Oh,
flow state.
the flow
The flow
state.
state.
Check this out.
Or
Check this out.
or Wu Wei, as they call it in
What?
Taoism.
I don't know what you can write yet.
uh, I think I'm right. I think I'm right.
That's just going to mean something completely random.
But it's the state of like flow and this state where you're just in this you're completely
Yeah.
focused on the task. So people get it when they're in sport, when they're doing sport and stuff, and their mind is completely focused
Yeah.
on nothing but the task at
But
hand.
the task at hand. Yeah. And sort of
Yeah.
like comparing it to past papers.
Mhm.
When you do the actual exam, like you're doing all this cramming before, and like you're reading notes
Yeah.
beforehand and and stuff like that. So there is, I think, an aspect to it of you're more prepared for the actual. I don't know if that's what I'm trying to get at. Like you're more like you're
Yeah.
like you're ready almost, sort of thing.
You're ready to roll.
Ready to roll.
Ready to rock and roll, man.
Exactly. So you mentioned anxiety
Yeah.
and stuff like that. How? Do you want a little fact?
Yeah, sure.
15.4% of students report anxiety impacted them this year.
That's very precise as well. Not just 15%, but 15.4.
No, 15.4. Yeah, you know.
Do you mind if I get some water real quick?
Haven't you literally been drinking water the
I've
whole
drunk. I've finished this. I'll bring my jug
can go
over
get
here.
your
I'll bring my
water, you can go get your water,
Okay.
Luca.
Okay, thank you, Jay.
That's alright. Oh dear.
Oh, look at this! I got this pocket knife as well. I got it in Italy. It's for
Oh yeah,
fishing.
you went to
It's for
Italy,
fishing,
didn't you?
Yeah.
There you go.
This is the jug of water I have.
Why is it so big?
I drink a lot of water, and what I do is like,
I've noticed.
I keep the jug in my room, and then just keep it in there for a few days.
Does it not get warm?
Yeah, it does. But like, water's water at the end of the day.
That is true. You just put that on the floor.
Yeah.
Okay.
What?
It's gonna have like carpet in it now as well.
No, because it's standing up, isn't it? Like it's not. I don't think there's anywhere to fit it on my desk because I've got like all time. I've got like a bottle of air freshener. Like, oh my god! And another bottle. Which
Right.
I built this on my like drama book, and my drama book was like covered in air freshener.
Well, at least it smelled nice.
It did smell very nice.
There we go.
Yeah.
So no, I actually read you the wrong fact.
No, man.
No,
Oh my god.
sorry, 23.4% of students reported anxiety, and 15.
So that's even worse.
15.4% of students reported depression. You know why I read it?
Wow.
You know why I read it wrong? Because I put like a
Why?
heading of depression, and then in the sentence it says anxiety. Anyway.
Yeah.
So how do you think? It's a very big topic. Like, how do you think mental health is like handled by people? Or just like, because if you have like anxiety at school, they tell you to like go speak to someone or whatever.
Yeah.
So how do you think the people that you go speak to, like your teachers or the examiner, or how do you think it's handled from a like school perspective, like mental health during exams?
Well, like for me, I didn't do that, right? So I don't have the experience of like, I took this teacher and it was good or it was bad. But I think in general there should be more like kind of pastoral support for students, not just from the school, but like I guess from the government as a whole as well.
Yeah.
Because like, yeah.
Yeah. Continue.
Yeah. Okay. Because like it's overall a quite stressful experience, and me like I don't think I really get like as stressed as most people.
Yeah.
Like I overthink a lot of things, but I don't.
Yeah.
I think what I do is I don't get stressed until like the day
The
of
day before, yeah.
something. No, but I do. That doesn't mean I don't revise. I still revised for my exams. I still prepared. But like I think, yeah, and then you've got other stuff that comes into play. Like what if some major event happens during the exam?
That's true. Yeah.
Or even. And there's other stuff which, like, this is going off a bit. Like, what if there's like traffic before the exam,
That's
like
true.
really bad traffic, or
That's true.
or your train gets cancelled if you have to take a train to school,
That's true.
and then you arrive late, so you have time taken off your exam.
Yeah.
Now I don't know what the government says about like, do you get any kind of extra any extra like time for that? Because I know you don't if you're just late, but I don't know
Yeah,
what they do
I
about
think
like if
with
there's a
that,
train
like, if
cancellation.
you arrive within a certain, like if you
Yeah,
arrive before the exam would have finished, I think there's something that can like you get it added on or
mm.
something like that. But
Yeah, or you might get like special consideration or something.
exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
But do you feel like if you did experience from anxiety or something like that, do you feel like, well, first, would there be like someone easy to go like for you to go talk to at school? So if you're not
Yeah.
at home, so say like at home you speak to your parents, but if you're in school and it's like 20 minutes before the exam and you're like having a little panic attack or something like that,
Yeah.
do you feel like there would be someone for you to go talk to in school?
So I dropped a cufflink, so I don't know where
That's
it's gone.
surprising.
It's an Italy cufflink. It's very cool.
Oh, of course.
But I don't. You know, I don't really think it's like as simple as kind of you can just go to talk to someone because I think I don't know because I think kind of opening up is like a difficult experience, and I think you have to have like a teacher or a member of staff or someone that you like really trust.
Yeah, it's got to be the right person.
Exactly, and then you've got stuff like a teacher's like really properly trained to deal with this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of issues that come around it.
But that
in
might
that way.
Yeah, that might not be the teacher you want to talk to either. Because if there's like a dedicated counsellor,
yeah,
like most people won't have met the counsellor unless they're counselling, and then all the teacher would be like, "Oh, you need to go talk to the counsellor," but like that might not be who you want to open up to as such.
Yeah, and then even with that, what about schools that are like underfunded and stuff? Do they even have
That's true, exactly,
counsellors? Yeah. Or do they have these people that you can kind of go and talk to? Like, do these people exist, man?
Exactly.
Like, yeah.
But then, also...
and then I think, yeah.
Wait, Luca, continue.
Okay, I was gonna say like on the like mental health thing. Another thing that you've got to consider is like if someone's like on their period.
Yeah.
That's also gonna have like an effect because like there's the added stress of that on top of the exams.
Yeah.
And then if you think about how long the exam period is,
it's like
no pun intended there, but if you think of how long was it, like 2 months?
Yeah, 2 months.
Yeah. So like it's kind of obviously unless you have like an irregular period or something like that.
Yeah.
The likelihood is fairly high, and so I think like that could like affect your performance and that could affect the stress around it and stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, would that even like classify as a consideration that?
I don't think like people would even consider that because I think it's not like a kind of thing that only like a few people experience.
Exactly, yeah.
Because it's like half the people that are taking exams experience that, and so I don't think the kind of government, the examples, I don't think they really take that into consideration when it is something that can like genuinely affect.
Yeah, because some people won't be affected by it sort of at all, and then other people it'll really.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, it'll be bad for them.
Especially if you have a really heavy period, that's going to affect like a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. So if say you have your maths exam in 15 minutes time, and you're about to have a panic attack, if you go into like an exam room with that mindset, you're obviously going to perform badly. And then, but if you go talk to someone, you like by the time you found them, you're only going to have like 5 minutes to talk to them.
Yeah, exactly.
You have to be like pushed into the exam either way. So what do you think should happen in that? I mean, I don't know how it works. If they would like delay the start for you, I think probably not, because it might be seen as unfair.
Yeah.
But then, is it actually unfair because all these people are going in like not panic attacks?
Yeah.
And then there's this one person that is.
Well, you know, I watched. Have you ever seen like it's this show, right? They do educating, and it'll be like a different location in the UK. So they have educating Manchester, educating Yorkshire.
Educating Manchester.
It's so good.
And
there's an episode of I think it was Educating Manchester, where
Mr.
they were
Povey,
in the middle of
like the headmaster.
I don't know. I've not watched it in a while.
I'm pretty sure it is.
I've not watched it in a while. But no, there was I remember specifically there was this one girl who had like anxiety.
Yeah.
And she got to go in a different room.
Yeah.
That like just with teachers and stuff, or like maybe like just two teachers and like an invigilator or something like that.
Yeah.
Instead of being in like this massive, because I think even just the layout of the hall is like somewhat intimidating.
That's
when you
true.
walk in and you've got like
solemn, sort of.
Yeah, no, yeah, it is, and you've got like you walk in, you've got like hundreds of desks.
Yeah.
And you've got like these old ass like stern invigilators looking at you.
That's true. All the walls,
And
like
then
in
there's
ours was in the sports, so all the walls are the same
Yeah.
colour and like everything.
Yeah, and then you've got like the big clock.
Exactly.
Well, not like an actual physical clock, but like the big timer at the front, which is like intimidating. And then they speak all like they don't sound very happy when they're like telling you the rules of the exam.
A certain manner,
Yeah.
But
And then also you walk in there in complete silence, like obviously for obvious reason.
Exactly,
I think that silence is almost like quite scary because it's like there's no like joking about or laughing or anything. It's like this is like serious and this is a serious atmosphere and
But then it's
so I think that your environment affects it as well.
That is true. If they were to change it though, how would they like keep it the same around the country to keep it fair? Because the idea is like whatever exam hall you walk into is going to be like the same design, the same like distance between the tables, the same. There's always going to be a big clock at the front. Everyone has to be silent. Everything.
Yeah. The thing is, I think this is like a big problem. I think this problem isn't to do with just the layout of the hall or in exams or everything. I think the problem in general is exams. Like, because right? This was, I would say this is like research for the podcast, but it's not really because I watched this like a year ago.
Luke,
not really.
You did this yesterday. You came prepared when I told you the talking points.
I watched it quite a while ago,
right.
so this is before I even knew this is before the podcast even existed. But it was I think it was either Good Morning Britain or This Morning.
Yeah.
And the old education secretary Gcse.
Yeah.
From ages ago, who introduced GCSEs into the UK, he says that he doesn't even believe they should exist anymore because at the time, first of all, I think outside of the UK there are no European countries that have major externally assessed exams at 16.
Well, that's quite interesting.
Yeah,
because I had to write down some stuff about this as well. So the idea that after, the GCSEs are the first formally externally assessed exams in the UK.
What about SATs?
I don't think they count.
Do they not?
I mean,
are SATs externally or internally?
I think they're external, but like the stakes aren't really the same. I don't feel like.
No, the stakes are definitely a bit different.
Yeah.
Your year 2 SATs.
Let's say GCSEs are the first. Okay. It's a very how old? Well, you're either 15 or 16 when you take them. So
I'm 15.
Yeah, I actually looked this up. Well, in like the 10 minutes while I was waiting for you to join, I got it on the recording. Yeah. So it's your birthday in 6 days.
Yeah.
Yeah, happy birthday.
10th of August.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like 15 years of knowledge, and 3 years of like actual like the proper knowledge.
Yeah.
It's still all sort of it comes down to like an hour and a half exam.
Yeah.
In most cases, like there is some coursework subjects. Like should it all be coursework? Should it be like different?
I think there's an argument that it should be coursework or mainly coursework at the least.
Some people it though, like the.
Those people are strange, man. Those
I knew you were
people
going to say that. I knew you were going to say
yeah, no, because this education geezer, right? He said that at the time that GCSEs were introduced, they needed an exam at 16 because majority of the people left formal education at 16 to go on to like jobs like I don't know, like mainly labor jobs like being a builder or something like that, and because of that they needed like some kind of record of how they did at school.
Yeah.
But now education in some form, so you can do like an apprenticeship or whatever.
Yeah.
It's mandatory till 18. It's mandatory till upper 6th.
Yeah.
So obviously there are cases where like you go and do an apprenticeship or you don't go to sixth form or whatever. Yeah. But in general, you kind of have to keep on doing it.
Yeah.
And so does it really still make sense for them to even exist if it's like because if you think what's the point? The point is like that this is where your upper school ends.
Yeah.
And your sixth form begins. But then there's also the issue of how if you're trying to get into a sixth form, how do they assess whether they should let you in or not?
It is true. So
there's issues.
It's almost like you become. It's sort of a stepping stone in life, sort of thing. Like you go from this like high school, sort of an American word.
Yeah.
You go from this high school person to this adult that goes to sixth form.
You're a lot more responsible for yourself in sixth form. Yeah.
Yeah, but then it's also if you got rid of GCSEs and the only like big, because realistically, GCSEs, they do not mean a massive amount. They get you into A level. It's sort of it's sort of a stepping stone for you to then start your A levels.
Yeah.
So so if you did just do away with them, they would all be How old are you when you do A levels? 18. So it would be
17, 18, yeah.
Yeah, so it would be like 17 or 18 years of your life. It all comes down to this 1 hour.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what if it's not your day? It just seems a bit sort of.
Yeah. I see what you mean, but yeah.
I mean, I think A levels they are slightly more like courseworky based sort of things, and there's like more essays behind it and stuff. But it is still like a good chunk of it still comes down to that.
I think for my A levels, I think I've only got one with actual coursework.
Really?
So I'm doing English language and literature, politics, and philosophy and religion.
That's quite hefty.
I hate essay-based exams, but I like the subject.
They're all essay-based.
I know. No, I know it's not. No, I don't. I'm good at the exams. I just hate them.
Yeah, it's
That's
a lot
the thing.
Writing.
I prefer the layout of like maths exams, although I'm not good at maths exams and I don't enjoy the content.
Yeah.
I prefer the layout of like you've got these like 5 markers and then 2 markers, 1 marker, 3 markers, 4 markers. Yeah. So I prefer the layout, but yeah.
But then, if you do a literature degree, the work you're going to be going into, sort of thing, is writing. Like.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah.
But it's exam. There's a difference between writing and like writing under time, like more time pressure.
That's true.
If you see what I mean, you've got less room for like, and also because you're writing towards a grade.
That's true.
You're not right. You're not going and you're doing the stuttering a lot. You're doing the exact writing style to get you the best grades. You're not doing it to. You're not doing the best writing you can. You're doing the writing that's going to aid you the best in getting a good grade.
That's sort of the thing. Like
in a sense. So it's different. Yeah.
It is the idea that sort of exams don't reflect. So to like reflect the real words. Take English literature. You would never really, but say you become a writer and you write books. You'd never sit down in one like 6-hour session and write. Maybe like I don't know. Some people write like a page in a month, and then the next month they'll write loads, and then they'll have time to go back and check it and all of that sort of thing. And it's the same with like maths. Realistically, now we've stopped maths at Gcse. We're never going to use algebra.
When am I going to use flipping Pythagoras? No, not Pythagoras. When am I going to use like cosine rule in my life?
Exactly. Unless you
go into a field involving mathematics.
Yeah. So do you think? Because obviously you need to learn some things. Like.
Yeah.
So do you think exams should become like the general content more base level and become like more real worldly content? Like in maths,
more like applicable to real life.
Yeah, like if we learnt like I don't know, tax rules or like how income tax works or stuff like that.
Yeah.
Which isn't as mathy, it's more like
economics.
Economics-y, but it is like because you can start working at 16, so it is sort of stuff you need to know like straight away.
Mm. So, I think subjects should be more kind of real life applicable. And one thing that I kind of believe is that you know how we have English and maths as core subjects.
Yeah.
I think there should be sort of like a third core subject.
Yeah.
Of like that you don't necessarily get assessed on, but it's something that you have to take. That's kind of like a politics and like how the world works type of class. So you're more like informed about everything. But then there's also the thing of like, what if because you have to be taught by a completely unbiased teacher,
and that's hard.
And the teachers are going to have their own personal biases.
Exactly.
Like a teacher might like be conservative, or they might be Labour or Green Party, or like
I get what you mean. Yeah.
So I think that's quite difficult. I think it's really difficult to get like the kind of what's the word? A utopian education?
Utopian education.
Another good word. Another good word. I think it's less kind of do this. I think in order to achieve like the best education, I think that requires a big revamp of the system in a sense.
That's true.
and that's quite it's quite difficult.
Even as like politics as an A level, there's still if the like a teacher can try as hard as they like to teach in an unbiased sort of manner, but there is going to be like subconsciously a small amount of bias to it in like the way they. Like I don't know if they're a Tory and they're teaching about the Tory party, like they might teach that content with a bit more like emphasis.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Not that they mean to do it at all. Sort of just because it's what they believe in.
Even just maybe in like kind of there's like subtle things like maybe their tone of voice or little things like that, or they're like facial expressions and stuff like that. So even if they're not saying concrete like they did this and this was great. Yeah. There's kind of tiny little subconscious things which kind of tell you that this is a good action and this is a bad action, or this is a good party and this is a bad party.
But like they won't like notice they're saying, and like you won't notice you're picking up, sort of thing.
Yeah, more water.
You've drunk so much water.
I'm thirsty.
Like,
I'm not actually thirsty. It's just like it's
like
good.
3
it's like
pints of water in an hour. And
no, I'm not
6
filling
minutes.
up. I'm not filling up to like the full pint. I'm just
okay.
Filling it up like 3/4 of the way. This is a Euros. Look at that, Euros.
Euro 20. I have a water bottle somewhere. That says that on it. Anyway,
I'm gonna spill some.
Right, so going very much back to what we started with.
Oh yeah.
Sort of the same thing as well. Education, in the times of the COVID.
These times.
Yeah, I've got another little fact. Apparently, 74% of teachers felt like they weren't able to teach to their usual standard. So obviously,
during lockdown?
Yeah, obviously it was all online and it was broken up and all sorts of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, I personally feel we were quite fortunate with how our education establishment.
Well, like our personal experience.
I think our personal experience was good, but from what you've heard, and obviously that fact is quite drastic. How do you think the government handled the whole educational side of COVID? Obviously, like I could ask just about COVID in general, but it's a very long discussion. To be honest. So how do you think they handled the school side of it?
To be honest, I don't think I'm too informed about like what the government actually did.
Yeah.
In terms of like COVID, but what I do think with COVID is that a lot of people, I think you kind of have the view of like, I think a lot of people have the view of like this like short-term feeling of pleasure rather than a long-term.
Yeah.
In a sense that like, even though, so like you might just mute your teacher, turn your camera off, turn your mic off, and go off and do something else, and that's like and that even though like you may know that like in the long run, that's not a great decision to make.
It's true, yeah.
I think I think you don't really look at that kind of long term thing, and I think a lot of people just didn't really listen as much over lockdown, and it's harder to listen as well because you're in your room and like in your room there's all these types of like distractions. Like maybe you've got like an Xbox over there, or you've got like a your PC or something like that. Like you've got all these different distractions in your room.
Yeah.
And it's kind of it's a lot more difficult to stay focused.
Yeah.
And I know people that I won't mention any names, okay?
I mean, I could possibly think. I might know who you're talking about.
But I know of someone who wouldn't leave our biology lessons after they had ended.
I wonder who that was.
Well, no, they wouldn't leave it because they just left the laptop. They didn't go off the lesson. But when they joined the lessons in the morning, they'd be like in bed and basically asleep, and they wouldn't leave that lesson.
Yeah.
Because they're just kind of barely awake.
Yeah.
And I think that's a big thing. Is like a lot of people just joined
and just
from their beds and like didn't really listen and just kind of maybe went on their phone a bit because it's like there's no consequences.
Exactly. There is no way. Well, there was no way for teachers to actually regulate it.
Yeah. Like, apart from like telling people to like turn all your cameras on, but then people would be like, "Oh, sorry, my camera's broken. My camera doesn't work," and then people would just put like, I don't know, tape over their like their little camera thing on their laptop, and they'd like pretend to turn the camera on.
Yeah.
So that instead of showing their profile picture, just show like a black screen. They'd be like, "Yeah, it doesn't work. It doesn't work."
Yeah.
And then they just wouldn't really they weren't doing it. So there's a lot. It's really difficult to police and to.
That's true. So it is sort of more. So the government did obviously try with stuff. They maybe could have tried better. They maybe could have tried. Well, they maybe could have tried worse. But like they didn't know really what.
Tried worse. Like they could have tried less. Is that what you're saying?
That is what. Yeah.
Like they could have just like done a bit less.
It could have been worse. But
yeah,
like, when people looking back on it have a very like biased opinion, like they didn't really know what was going on.
Yeah,
we didn't really know what was going on. But it is almost the attitude of students as such was not where it should have been.
Mm-hmm.
Really, maybe because people thought, like, do you remember in like March 2020 when we first went into lockdown? It was just before Easter. And all the teachers were like, "Oh, we'll be back straight after Easter, everything."
Yeah, 2 weeks, and then you're back at school. Yeah.
So people did sort of see it as just a very short term thing. Like, oh, if I miss this week of school, like nothing will really happen. I'll just catch up.
Yeah, but it kind of snowballs in a way. Like it kind of like
exactly.
You build these habits. You build like bad habits because you think like it's just going to be a week, but then it turns into 2 weeks, and then 3, then 4, then 5,
and then
these habits just like continue.
And then it became like a year, and you're sort of in the mindset like, oh, it's all right, because you're still going off that same original mindset, and then you've missed out on a load of content. So it is sort of a difficult thing. It is sort of the government, if everyone has done. So I think the government may have made exams slightly easier this year, which I don't know if that's wrong or right. I couldn't possibly comment.
Yeah,
but I think they will have to make it like results from the exams look better either way, because if like this whole year does really badly, it will reflect badly on them and like how they handled it as such. So I think either way, the vast majority of people will do the same or the 3% better from the grade creep.
Yeah.
So it's all a very difficult sort of situation to talk about, I think.
Did you hear that? By the way,
hear what?
Outside, I just had some weird noise. I'm like, I don't know what it was. Oh, because I did a weird look out the window.
No, I didn't even see. But
also, side note, I've been like itching my arm a ton because I've got like a bite on it or something.
No, I haven't noticed that either.
Right, yeah. Wow, that's good. Then, that's good.
You should have pointed it out. No,
I probably shouldn't have. No, you're gonna be looking back at the footage. You're gonna see me like looking down.
I'm gonna watch it back. I'm gonna watch it back. No, but so it is a difficult situation. No one still really does know what they're gonna do with the whole exams and everything. When is it? It's the 25th. I can't see the
25th of August.
So yeah, it's
It's the 25th.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to work out.
Okay.
26 days. No, 21 days.
Ooh,
21 days.
Ooh, okay. You're a bit far off at first, but you're getting there. You're getting there.
21 days until. Well, that's not even A levels. Find out 21st.
A levels a bit earlier. Yeah.
Yeah. So. Yeah. It just see how it goes.
I think the government has incentive for like students to do well as well, because obviously it reflects badly on their performance.
Exactly, yeah.
But then again, because there's obviously a change of government, a change of prime minister, like because obviously there was Boris, now it's looking, maybe it's going to be Rishi, maybe it's going to be Big Liz.
Yeah.
But like, I think because of that, like maybe there's not as much incentive. But then at the same time, like, what's already been said about these exams is like said and done, so maybe that incentive's not going to be there, but like
there's still the same party.
What's going to happen? Still going to happen. Yeah.
So it is
and it is still the same party.
Well. Yeah. I mean, it's going to be the interest of any government to do well, because if they can say, "Oh, look, we got 30% of our students got 9s in GCSEs this year," like that's going to look good on any government.
Yeah.
So it is a difficult one. They'll probably release some statement about how it all happened and everything. So there could be a part 2 to this episode.
Oh,
little review of how it all went. What do you?
A little reaction.
Exactly. I don't know if you're okay with this, Luca. But what do you think you're going to get in your exams?
You know what? I don't think I'm going to do badly.
I don't think you're going to do badly.
I don't think I'm going to do like incredible. I don't think I'm going to do like. Do you know Revashan?
No.
on TikTok?
No.
You don't know Revishan?
No.
Nah, oh my god. Wait, I'll show you a thing of Revishan. I don't think we're gonna get like Revishan's grades.
What grades does
How
he
do you
get?
not know Revishan? He gets like all nines, man.
Oh, right.
Do you seriously not know who Revishan
No,
is?
no, I don't use TikTok ever.
Revishan.
I only watch YouTube because I'm pretty cool like that.
He's this guy.
Nah.
He makes like revision videos.
Okay.
Here, there he is.
No, is he like good?
Yeah, no, he loves revision. Like, he does these like TikTok lives where he's just revising.
Just like you then.
Yeah, no, he does.
Yeah,
he does like.
you brush past that. So.
Wait, what? Wait, what? Just like me.
I said just like you, and you just said it as in like yeah.
Yeah, no, yeah. I do TikTok lives. I revise.
Oh yeah.
But no, yeah, he
oh,
does.
Yeah.
He does like blurting. He just like scribbles on paper sometimes.
Oh,
I don't
okay.
know. It's weird. But he get went off on a bit of a Revishan tangent there. No, it's actually funny though, because like little side note, someone leaked like the chemistry paper on his like Discord server,
Did
and
they?
I remember
Was it the actual thing?
everyone was got. Yeah,
Oh,
like
actual
before
one,
it
the
was.
actual one. Oh right.
Yeah. And everyone was saying he's like the biggest Fed because he was like reporting them to authorities and everything.
That is actually illegal. Like some
Yeah.
people got arrested for it when it happened. Before.
Yeah.
It's sort of full on.
Damn.
Yeah.
it was funny, but no, yeah, I don't think we're gonna get like Revishan levels, but I think to be because of like I put in some like work.
I know you've done so. I've seen your revision
Yeah.
cards.
So I think it's especially for like I think for exams I want to do well in. I think I'm gonna do well in them. So like in particular, English and RE I want to do well in.
Yeah.
And drama. The thing is, right? Drama I was like doing really poorly in my exams.
Yeah.
But then I had like the last one I did before GCSEs.
Yeah.
I did like decent. Like I did well, but like I don't know what I did differently in that exam compared to my ones before. I tried to follow like our teacher's advice, but
yeah.
But yeah, and also I guess we've got coursework for drama as well, which might carry a bit.
The thing with drama that like annoys me, it's 60-40. Like there's 60% written, 40% drama, basically.
Yeah.
Like it's a bit weird because drama is acting like mostly.
I think drama's weird as well because we do AQA.
Yeah.
The set out of drama is like I don't get why it's like you have to write on what these actors like did well.
Yeah. I mean,
in this performance and like how they portrayed.
See it because it's like.
No, but surely there's like more practical thing. Like I don't know, write a script. Follow like this
that's true.
Storyline. Write a monologue for this character. I think there's like more practical things, but actually going into a career.
I mean,
that might involve like theatre or something like that. I think there's more practical use.
I mean, it probably does change on your exam board. Like it depends on what the school wanna.
Yeah, it does. My friend doesn't have. So we had like 32, 20.
Yeah.
12, 8, 4.
4, yeah, and then like the multiple choice one.
Then the little one markers, but he had like, I think his was a similar setup to geography. They had like 9, 6, 4, and stuff like that. So it varies a lot on exam.
I just feel like it should just be more of a practical exam, being drama and everything. Like it is a lot of like the exam was 2 hours 30.
No, for drama.
Yeah.
No, it's like 1:45.
Was it?
2 hours 30 is a long exam.
Okay,
2:30 is like.
I might be thinking of something else.
2:30 was our longest exam was 2:30. That was like English literature.
Anyway,
I think it was English lit.
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure English lit was 2:30, and then everything else was like. Oh no, that was 2:15.
Maybe. I
think our longest exam was 2 hours 15. So I don't know what you're on about.
Anyway, no, but drama's so time pressured as well.
Yeah, but if it was 2 hours 30, then surely it wouldn't be that time pressured.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Moving on.
Like it was an hour 45.
Moving on. Yeah. What do you think?
What about you? How well do you think you did? What do you think?
I think it's sort of the same thing as you. The exams that. The thing is with me, the subjects I do well in.
Yeah.
Tend to be the subjects I like, and the other way around. The subjects I like are the ones I tend to do well in.
Yeah.
Maybe because I do well in them, they're the subjects I like. Because Yeah, but
Yeah.
I think sort of the same. It's not going to be incredible, but
Yeah.
I reckon it's. I don't think I failed anything. Chemistry.
Yeah, I don't think I failed anything either.
Chemistry,
Chemistry
and
paper
maths
2.
are not going to be too high. I don't think.
I
But
think as long as I get a 5 or above in maths, then
Yeah.
I'm happy.
yeah.
I'm aiming for like a 6
Oh yeah, in maths.
or a 7.
In maths.
I think a 7's a bit wishful thinking, but like that.
You got to have wishful thinking to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I guess. Yeah.
Exactly. Well, there we go.
Oh, you know what I did to motivate myself during exams?
We've got a bit of inside knowledge.
I watched on YouTube opening exam, like it'd be like opening my exam results. I failed everything. Like watching these videos of people that like open it. Yeah, no, it's so because you watch these videos of these people who are like who open their results and then they do like
just dreadful.
horribly. It's terrible. It's like the best when they cry as well.
That sounds so mean.
So
That sounds so mean.
But it is because that motivates you so much. It's like an expression of their emotion. Like if someone's in like floods of tears over their exam,
that sounds so mean.
no, because it's like I don't want to be that person.
You don't want to be
like,
that
I don't
person,
want
so it motivates you.
Yeah, you don't want to watch the ones where people do well, because then that's going to be, you know what I mean.
yeah.
You want to watch the ones where people do like absolutely. There's this one that I watched that's so good. It's like it's dreadful.
It's got it on repeat.
It's not. It's great. Yeah, it's brilliant.
So, dear me, do you feel like when you're going into an exam period, there's all the assemblies on like make a revision timetable, revising blocks, all of that.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you're flooded with information almost?
I think you are. I think there's a lot. There's quite a lot to remember.
Because do you remember like how many leaflets and like stuff there was?
Yeah.
Did you make
there was
a revision timetable?
I did, but my revision timetable was horrible.
I made one as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I feel like you don't really you write it in such a way like you get an even amount for each subject and stuff like that. But then you don't need like you might need someone more than the other.
Yeah, I made it, but it was so like it was too intense. And I think when you make a revision timetable that's like too hard, you do it for a few days, then you get exhausted from it, and then it just makes it worse for you. So for me, I made one that was basically like I had it in like half-hour blocks or something, and I had like a 5-minute break in between.
Yeah.
And it was like that for the whole day, other than my lunch break, which basically meant I like didn't really get a break like the entire day.
Yeah.
Other than obviously lunch, and it ended at like 4:30 or something like that.
Yeah.
And I think it's better if you do it for me at least, like it's different for different people, but for me it's better if I do it in like 1 hour and then like half-hour break, an hour, half-hour break. And like the weird thing is, right, is it's like scientifically proven or whatever that like your concentration like massively dips after 25 minutes or half an hour or something like that. Like you can't concentrate at all. So maybe it's like maybe it's like a kind of you do one subject and you do like half an hour, then you have a 5-minute break, then you do another half hour, then you have a half-hour break, then you do another, which sounds like complicated, but it's not that complicated. Yeah. And I think that like in theory for me is the most optimal, but I didn't do that, and it just kind of ended up like flowing into like this weird mix of like
it's sort of what you're worrying most about is what you do, sort of thing.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing with me when like in the exam period, I felt like because obviously I'd written breaks into like the timetable, and when I was revising, like I was like, oh, I'll read this page and then I'll break. But whenever I stopped, I felt like so like not good. Like I should be doing something. Like if I went down like and watched TV or something like that.
There's a lot of guilt.
Yeah, exactly. I felt guilty for like not revising because I'd be like, what if this next page is the page that comes up in the exam as a 9 marker or something like that?
Yeah, exactly.
I felt like I needed to spend, which admittedly may not have been good because it's like not really self-control, like because you need a break, and I was like so exhausted after like revising for a whole day and like just ignoring talking to everyone and just stuff like that. But I don't know, it's sort of a mental health thing again, like it's sort of anxiety about like how to best spend your time.
I mean, I think
Like,
also if you kind of revise and you're mentally exhausted from like
yeah,
all this revision, that's going to affect your exam performance as well,
that's true.
because your brain's not all like ready and raring to go,
Yeah,
and so you're just like you're a bit pooped,
exactly. Yeah,
and so it can be hard to keep
but
up
that's
with
the thing
it.
again. You can't just stop because
Yeah,
if it's like a Tuesday and you've got an exam on Thursday and you're exhausted on the Tuesday, like you can't just take the Wednesday off,
yeah, exactly,
sort of thing.
exactly.
So it is.
Yeah,
It does go back to that idea of like, is exams the best way to assess?
yeah.
Yeah, and it's also in our mocks. I feel like that was the worst. Like we did
Mm.
15 exams in 10 days.
It was
It
intense.
was so
It,
much.
it, it was a lot.
Straight after
Yeah,
Christmas, like the first week back as well.
yeah.
There was just like,
Not no time to adjust. Just
yeah,
like
2 or 3 exams every single day for 10 days.
mm.
Like it was, yeah. But it,
another thing. Yeah, you got any? Oh, okay.
it's fine, it's
and
fine.
another. Are you sure you don't have anything else?
No, Luca,
You good?
I'm sure, I'm sure,
Okay.
I'm sure.
Another thing with exams, just like in general,
Yeah,
as a whole, which kind of affects the sort of the fairness of them in a way,
yeah,
is you can take, like, some people take like study drugs and stuff.
yeah,
Like, so you have Adderall, which is for people with like ADHD,
yeah,
to like help them concentrate, which is fair. Like,
yeah,
obviously, you should be able to take that if you have like a condition or something.
yeah,
But I think because people take that when they don't have ADHD and stuff,
yeah,
which kind of makes your brain move like faster. It increases your performance and stuff. And so there's that thing of like, it's not like they drug test you before
yeah,
an exam,
exactly, yeah,
like, you know what I mean. So I think there's that which kind of affects people's performance. And yeah, you have like your good days and you have your bad days.
yeah,
And like, what if you get an important exam? What if you have like your maths exam on one of your bad days?
yeah. That is
You
true.
know, because you're tired, and then there's like there's other stuff that could affect you. And I think it's difficult to judge that fairness of exams when you've got all like so many different factors involved in it.
That's true. I mean, talking about like the drug sort of thing.
Yeah,
I mean, it is a difficult thing again because, like, if you do things legally, like if you go to
yeah,
the doctor with, well, I don't know, depression or something, and they
yeah,
like prescribe you antidepressants, it is, well, it is technically right, but it's difficult because there is other solutions than turning to drug, because like people can get addicted very easily to, like,
yeah. And then there's also drugs which can like slow down your mental
yeah,
performance,
exactly,
like, and make you more drowsy. So like, if maybe if you're feeling sick on a day or
yeah,
something,
exactly,
you take you like have, because you still have to take your exams.
yeah,
You still have to do it, and so you like, I don't know, you take some like cough medicine or something, and that makes you like drowsier
yeah,
and more kind of, yeah, and because obviously that slows down your brain, slows down your heart rate or whatever, and
yeah,
that's going to affect your performance as well, because you've not got the energy in a
yeah.
way to kind of to push forward
It
and to do it
it
to the
is
best of your
it
ability.
is sort of a difficult thing because like quite a lot of famous people like picked up like drug abuse and that whole sort of thing like in their teenage years, and like
Yeah,
that's only famous people like you've heard of telling the story of it and how they like relapse from using drugs or stuff like that. But then there's like all the people you haven't heard of and people that become addicted to drugs prescribed for being depressed or
yeah,
having anxiety and stuff like that. And then like at the end of the day, they might make it through like the exam period or the stressful period or whatever. Then it becomes worse over time as you become like
yeah.
immune to the drugs you've been. So it is sort
You
of
have to take more to get like the same experience.
exactly, yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
So it is sort of difficult because for some people it can help them get through it and like potentially save them from, or in serious cases like death or suicide or stuff like that.
yeah.
But then it is, I don't know. It's just a difficult one,
Yeah,
to be honest.
I think that's the thing. It's like there's so many situations where it's like, what's the, I guess in a way, like, what's the correct moral thing to do,
That is
and
true.
then there's like, what what where does it become not fair, and where
Yeah,
is it still fair? Is there like a point where the line is drawn?
that's true. What?
In fairness in exams, and I think that's kind of a big thing with exams is that they're seen as like everyone takes the same exam, so it's fair.
Yeah.
When that it's not really fair because not everyone's taking the same exams in under the same circumstances.
Exactly. Yeah.
Not everyone's taking the exact same exam in the same exam hall,
Exactly. Yeah.
and not everyone because some people have a phone with them, which obviously isn't allowed. But like
Yeah.
cheating does exist within exams, and so there are people. I don't think they are like truly fair, and I think it's very very difficult to achieve
Yeah,
true
it is
fairness
basically
with
impossible
exams.
to intrude. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, but then sort of with the like, what's moral? It's sort of like what's moral and what can actually be done. Like the moral
yeah.
thing to do if someone goes to the doctor depressed or with anxiety because of the exam period would be to stop them taking the exams. And
You
like
can't, but like at the
exactly,
same time, that's going to affect their life further on,
yeah,
and
you
you
like they
can't
can't
really
do
do that.
that
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, so it is difficult sort of thing,
yeah.
and
And I think that's the benefit of coursework. Is because coursework isn't sort of taken in an hour period. Period. I said
exactly,
period. I just didn't say the R. But coursework's taken over, not taken like over an hour, 2 hours. It's
yeah,
taken sort of maybe like over a week, 2 weeks, maybe longer.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
It sort of is. It's almost only as stressful as you make it. Coursework.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
Like if you leave it to the last 2 days when you've been given I don't know a year to do it. It is.
A
It is.
year.
Yeah, yeah. If it's like
That's
DT
some long
coursework or
coursework.
something like that.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. No,
if
that
you
makes
leave
sense.
it to like the week before to like finish it and properly do it, like that is your own fault. But then
That's a bit silly.
yeah, like exams.
You better not have done that
I
for
didn't.
your
I didn't
exams,
do that. I
Jacob.
didn't do that.
Give.
No, but for exams, yeah, like yeah. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Because I don't know how to get it.
I
Into
do know
words.
what you're trying to say. Yeah.
It's just I kept saying yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, man.
So it is difficult,
yeah.
but then it depends on the person very much as well. Like
Yeah.
you can't analyze how many people take maths in the whole of the country. Like you can't
Like
analyze
everyone, basically,
everyone's
yeah.
situation and compare it to everyone else's situation, and give consideration to. I mean, some people get considerations for stuff, but everyone that like could possibly need it, and like it is impossible to do.
Yeah, because you don't have enough like staff to kind of go through all of that as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then but if it becomes like 100% coursework a subject, is it the student's own work? Have they had like extra teacher help? Stuff like that. That I'm not saying people would, but it could happen because, like you said, cheating does exist. Even however hard you try for there not to be cheating. So yeah. I mean.
Yeah, and you think you like how many invigilators have you got in an exam hall? Like 6, 7?
Exactly. With like.
And they've got to police like
200
potentially
people.
hundreds of students.
Exactly,
Yeah,
exactly,
200
yeah.
or even more in some cases.
Exactly.
They've got like kind of judged so many people
Exactly.
and like how like is that a bit unfair on them? Especially because like let's be honest, most of them are like over 60. Like
there is a
let's
sort
be
of
honest.
demographic for.
Yeah, there is definitely a demographic of kind
Yeah.
of like old people, and I think that I guess is harder as well to like, it's not like you got some eagle-eyed
Yeah.
30-year-old. You've got mainly some old guy. He probably has like can barely hear out of his like
Yeah.
right ear. He probably doesn't have a left ear. Probably wears an eye patch or something. Like there's like
Yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, there's the thing. But like a 30-year-old won't want the job. So it won't.
Yeah.
It is sort of again an impossible thing to sort.
Yeah.
It just so yeah. It is all difficult. Whether it's right, it's clearly one of the better solutions, or it probably would have been changed. Because everything we have discussed that could change, it's all like very difficult to do, or would need a lot.
Yeah,
of
it
money.
requires like a whole change to sort of the education system as a whole.
Exactly. And how does that
I think
sort of start? Because then, say they start next year, or people in our year will be like, "Oh, how come we had to do this?"
Yeah, exactly. Like that's unfair
So-
for us. Like it's such a massive task
Exactly. Yeah.
because like how many schools exist in the country?
Exactly.
How how many students exist in the country?
And
And
then
then also
like, new infrastructure and everything to accommodate the new.
no, yeah, and then also people will say like, oh, what's wrong with the old what happened
Yeah,
before. Like,
exactly.
and that would obviously require like a. And I think another thing is you can't vote under 18.
Yeah,
So when it comes to issues to do with school and university and stuff like that, you don't have as much of an input, despite the fact that
that's
that's going
true.
to affect you the most. So like,
Yeah,
if there's like an election for like to revamp the school system, it's going to lean one way
that's true. There's going to be no
because
one
because
actually in the school
yeah,
system voting.
exactly. And then that's like a kind of thing of like, should people be allowed to vote at 16? That's a debate that's been going on for like
Yeah,
quite a long time.
yeah.
Yeah.
But then, is everyone it's sort of the same thing for everything that has age restrictions, like driving or drinking or whatever.
Yeah.
Surely there might be some people that are mature enough to do it, but
Yeah.
not everyone will be mature enough to make a good decision on the matter.
I mean, in a way, like if you're mature enough to take GCSEs, if you're mature enough to take these exams, which like they may not be like super duper important, but they go on your like permanent record.
Exactly. Yeah.
So if you're mature enough to do that, then why are you not mature enough to vote? Let's say
That's true.
you know, and like yeah, and even though like this might this might be a bit like morbid or whatever, but because like old people that vote on topics, it's not really going to affect them because like they don't really have much time left. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas for younger people, it does it does affect them, and it does kind of
Yeah.
and when it affects you the most, and you're not really able to input, then it's
Yeah, well, everything's linking back here very perfectly. It's sort of, should there be that extra subject at school again that teaches these sort of
yeah.
things?
No, that's
so people
that's
are
yeah,
mature
that's what I
enough.
was going to say.
Yeah, so people are
'Cause
mature
for my
enough to
yeah
make the decisions.
yeah
So,
for my induction day, we talked about this very topic.
Well,
So this is like
for
kind of my
sixth one.
for sixth form.
Oh,
For my
right.
induction day for politics, we
There you
discussed should voting be allowed at 16, and then I talked to someone who said about the idea of the politics like being an essential like subject. Who I don't know their name, but thank you.
But yeah, it's all it's all linking back very perfectly because you've copyrighted them now, like in the English exam. So it is.
Yeah.
It's sort of yeah. So yeah. It's a difficult thing. No one really, because what we've said, although it might be true, like we haven't accounted for everything that, because it would take forever. Like accounted for everything that could possibly need to be changed, and if you change one thing, like it'll mess up something else. And stuff
Yeah,
like that.
it's like a. I suppose a term like for like a spider web type of thing.
Yeah.
Like if you change one thing, like it kind of affects
knock
everything,
on
you know?
effect.
Not
Is that it? Is that what you were thinking about?
I think it was something else, but like that works. There's a knock on effect for you change one thing that affects another thing, and then I think you kind of have to start from nothing.
That's true.
And just like completely rebuild it, but that obviously takes a lot of time.
Yeah.
And then how do you change? Because you can't, because for students, it's like you can't change it for people in a sense of like if you've already been educated in this system and you introduce a new system.
Yeah.
That's like a big change. So where do you start it from? Like reception, like where do you?
Well, exactly. Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah.
If you make this change, like the year 10 people will be halfway through learning one thing, and then you can't.
Then they got
flip it into another.
Change something else. Yeah.
So it could be changed very gradually, like how the GCSE structure changed from ABC to 9 to 1.
Yeah.
So things like that can change gradually, but then they take time to take effect, and then time to get used to, and then they change another thing, and it's also a very small thing that's been changed as well. So it's difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've gone very off topic here, but it's all good.
We're kind of waffling quite a bit.
We are waffling quite a lot.
We're waffling a lot. Yeah, we've got to get back to the
task at hand. That's what I brought you here.
Oh, that's great.
The
Thank you
waffle,
very
the
much.
waffle master. Well,
let's go.
Should we wrap it up there?
I think it's a good spot to wrap it up.
I think that's a good
think
spot
it is.
to-
I think yeah.
Thank you for coming on the podcast.
That's okay. It's been my pleasure. Thank you for inviting me on.
Everyone listening, watching, whatever, however you view, listen to this material, thank you very much for listening and watching. If you're on YouTube, don't forget to like and subscribe. Shout out Luca. He's just staring at me now and just nodding. He doesn't know what to say. Man. You're the host. You're the host. So I've got to let you do the talking. Exactly. Yeah. Well, there we go. Okay. Thank you for coming on, Luca. And
thank you very much.
Yeah. Keep hydrated because that's what you've been doing for the last hour. I've
kind of nearly finished this jug.
That is a big jug.
But I've still got water in here, so I have been keeping very hydrated.
Well, there we go. Thanks. Okay. That was a bit awkward. We're gonna cut that right there.